Hello everyone, my name is Emily if you are new here, and Happy New Year! Happy 2025. I love the new year and like this time of year to just like sit down and reflect on the past year and then set goals for the new year. So I thought, why not sit down and make a little chit-chatty video, just like reflecting on 2024 and then, talking about my goals for 2025. So let's get into it. Last year, I decided to like set a word or like a phrase to focus on for the year. So my phrase for last year was to basically stop letting fear control my life. I felt like there were a lot of areas where I was kind of like not doing things that I wanted to do just based out of like being afraid of whether it was like what other people would think or the fear of failing or, fill in the blank. I was not doing things I wanted to do just out of fear. So my focus for this past year was to stop doing that and basically just stop letting fear control my life. So a big area for that for me was YouTube. So I had wanted to start a YouTube channel for probably, 10 years or so. Basically since high school, I had always wanted to do this, but I had never actually, bit the bullet and done it, mostly out of fear of what other people would think. So with my phrase of this past year being not letting fear control my life, I thought what better way to, embody that than doing the thing I've always wanted to do, but been too afraid to do. So my New Year's resolution for 2024 was to start my YouTube channel, and I'd say I accomplished that goal. So my main goal was to do one video a month for every month of 2024. I think I've posted 10 videos out of 12, so I didn't quite reach that goal, but all in all, I stuck with it and started my YouTube channel finally. So I'm honestly so proud of myself that I did the thing I've always wanted to do, and I thought I would talk about some of the things that I have learned since starting my YouTube channel, because about like halfway through the year, I started like reflecting on it and was like, wow, I feel like I've actually grown in a lot of areas that I didn't necessarily anticipate. So I thought I would talk about them. Okay, so things I learned since starting my YouTube channel last year. I grew my self-confidence a lot more than I was anticipating. I didn't really realize how much confidence I would gain just by doing the thing I'd wanted to do, but not done. It's crazy how much self-confidence and like self-esteem you can grow from just setting a goal and sticking to it. So that was something that I really learned throughout doing it that I wasn't really anticipating. I also obviously gained a new skill set with like filming and editing and, using like Final Cut to edit videos and stuff like that. I think that's a skill that you're like constantly like evolving in and like growing, and there's always more to learn, but definitely grew my skill set with practicing editing videos and stuff like that. It's also just been a fun creative outlet that I think I needed. I wasn't really getting a creative outlet at work, so being able to do like a hobby that was creative and just for me was a huge benefit as well. It's also something that I realize I'm basically just doing for myself and not for like outside fulfillment. I'm doing this for me and not for anyone else, and I think that's part of why it like grew my self-confidence too, is it's for me. It's not for like the numbers, it's not for money or like gaining followers. It's just something that I wanted to do, so I did it. And all in all, I just love that I have all of these videos to reflect on of memories I made in this past year. So that kind of brings me into my little like 2024 recap, because I now have a video for like pretty much every like major milestone I hit in 2024. I have a video to remember it by, so that's huge for me. I started 2024 going to Washington, D.C. for the first time with my little sister Gretchen. She was interning in D.C. and I had never been, so I flew out there with her to get her like set up for her internship, and I now have like this fun video to remember that trip by, even though it's like so cringy to watch because like it's my first video and I feel like I was like really nervous and like just getting started with everything, but I love that I still like have that memory to look back on of Gretchen and I getting to go get her settled in Washington, DC for the first time. So that was my first video. And then my second video was when we went to Big Bend for the first time. So Big Bend National Park is like in far west South Texas, and I had always wanted to go, but we had never like made it happen before. So we finally went, and then we actually, Chaz and I got engaged on that trip. And I am obsessed with the fact that we have like our whole engagement weekend like in a vlog. I'm so excited for next month on our like engagement anniversary to just get to like sit down and watch that video together. I think it's gonna be so cute and special and sweet to be able to like look back on that video every year. The next video I posted was the Round Top Antique Fair. So my best friend Ellie drove down from Wichita, and then we drove down to Round Top, and we got to stay in this cute little Airbnb in downtown Brenham, and we went antique shopping, and I'd say it wasn't exactly what we like expected the trip to be, but it ended up being super fun. And we bought a bench for our entryway here. That was the first piece of furniture we bought for our house we were building, so that was super sweet. I just love that we have all of those memories to look back on. I feel like I've said that 10 times, but it really is like, I appreciate it so much. So the next trip we went on, or the next video I posted, was when we went to Cancun. So this was actually my first time going out of the country. So my first passport stamp, and Chaz and I got to go down to Cancun for some friends that were getting married down there. So we got to stay at the all-inclusive resort and do that whole shebang. And that was the weekend that Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department came out. So I also love that I like have my like first reactions to hearing that in the vlog too. Another huge milestone this year was Chaz and I built and bought our first house. So I'm now in my office, not in our little 1-bed, 1-bath apartment. And I have a ton of footage from like the building process that I'm still, it's on my to-do list to like edit it down and post, but it's honestly just a bunch of B-roll. So I'm like trying to figure out how I want to like structure that video. But we have our empty house tour posted. So I love that we have like a kind of like starting block someday when we actually finish furnishing our house, which will not be anytime soon. I want to go through and do like a full house tour of like what it looks like now, so we can like basically have the memories to look back on of like what it looked like the day we bought it versus like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now when we've truly turned the house into a home. So I think that will be super sweet. Another super fun thing we did this year was we went to Michigan, which is where I'm from, but we took Chaz's parents to Michigan for the first time, and they got to like hang out with my family in Michigan for a few days. And then we ended up taking them on like a lighthouse tour up the west coast of Michigan, and we took them to Mackinac, and they got to go over the Mackinac Bridge, the ferry, and they love lighthouses, so we saw as many lighthouses as we could on that trip. And then coincidentally, it wasn't necessarily planned, but we ended up looking at and booking our wedding venue during that trip. So that was such a fun thing that I didn't necessarily anticipate being in that vlog, but it ended up happening. And it, like, if I wasn't vlogging, I wouldn't have that vlogged, obviously. But I love that we have like that little memory of us like touring and picking out our wedding venue. I think it's such a fun story to like show throughout our year of like we got engaged and then we picked a wedding venue. And then I also vlogged us going wedding dress shopping for the first time, and that was fun. A little overwhelming. If you watch that video at the end, I'm like, I don't know if I even want a wedding dress. And I'll do another video with the wedding planning process at some point, I think, to like catch you up on how I'm feeling now. And long story short, I still don't have a dress, but TBD. We'll see. But the point is, we also got to capture like those memories of the wedding planning process, and a lot of it I want to keep like private at the moment, but once our wedding happens, I want to be able to recap all of it and talk about the wedding planning process and, you know, things we like and don't like about what we did when it all is said and done. So 2024 was a huge year for us. We did so many fun things, and I'm so glad I actually took the initiative and did not let fear control me and posted on YouTube. I think that was huge for me. It grew my self-confidence. It, you know, helped me just like feel more secure in who I am as a person and stuff like that. And also, I'm so glad that I have the memories to look back on. So yay, I'm so glad I did all of that. But now looking forward into 2025, my like word or phrase for this year that I want to focus on is consistency. So I feel like I'm inconsistently consistent at the moment, and I just want to really kind of like nail down my routines and my schedules this year and really lock into my goals and stuff like that. And that kind of goes across like all areas of my life. So I really want to focus on being more consistent with my workouts, with my nutrition, with my sleep schedule, with my morning and evening routines, and also with my YouTube posting schedule. So I've kind of been a little bit sporadic this year, and the goal was just to simply do it and not to do it well or anything like that. So now that I have kind of like taken that initial step of actually doing the thing I wanted to always do, the next step is to kind of like refine it and get better at it. So that's a huge goal for me in 2025, is to be more consistent with posting and also with all of my routines and stuff. So I kind of think I can tie those two things together and really just kind of like vlog more of my daily life, which is a bit different for me because if you've watched any of my videos, kind of seen, I kind of focused more on like travel vlogs this past year. It was the most we've ever, or I think 2024 is the most I've ever traveled in my life, which is kind of crazy, but it was a lot of fun, and I feel like we got to go on a lot of really cool trips that you guys got to see too, because I filmed them. I found it a lot easier to film travel vlogs and like trips we were going on. It felt a lot more natural than filming like my morning routines and like working from home and things like that. So I did a couple of those videos this past year, but I don't know. It felt easier to do the travel vlogs than like daily life vlogs, but I also don't think that's very realistic. I think we traveled a lot last year because we could, and this year we're saving for a wedding. So other than traveling for a wedding and things like that, I don't think we're gonna be traveling near as much. And the goal again is to just be more consistent in all areas of like routines and stuff. So I think I can pair my goal of being more consistent with posting with my goal of being more consistent in the gym and things like that by filming my workouts and posting about them. So hopefully you guys will like that sort of content. But either way, again, the goal was to do this for me and not for outside validation. So we're just gonna do it. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way through, I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment about what your goals are for 2025. If you do this like phrase or like focus area, let me know what your phrase is for this year and what areas you want to improve in your life in the new year. Maybe we will do this again next year and recap 2025 and see how we did with staying consistent. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.